Get. Simply built different, fanatic Chainsaw Man fans have made themselves a home of endless artistic and idiotic content. As a connoisseur of the stupid, I've been on a steady diet of bread, beans, and brain rot for the better half of a year. Under normal circumstances, I would ask, what drives a person to make things that they do? But I think the COVID's finally gotten to my head, and I simply do not care anymore. Head empty. Some of my favorite Chainsaw Man fan artists are the ones that obsess with one or two hyper-specific characters for no reason, other than everything about them. Let's take Himeno for example. Canonically, she's had a brutal relationship with her job as a devil hunter, as she's watched every single one of her companions die before her. Despite this, her personality is generally playful and teasing, with a touch of alcoholic chaos. What's interesting though, is trying to parse through that playful personality. How much of it is a coping mechanism? How much of it is who she wants to be? And how much of it is actually just her being herself? Seems like a pretty cool background to me. Surely, the fan art reflects this deeper inner turmoil, right? My favorite Himeno fan artist has got to be Leowig, also known as Himeno Drunk X Gaming. Leowig's drawings crank up Himeno's alcoholism and stupidity by 20 notches. And it's the best train wreck I've ever seen. Fujimoto-san, the author of Chainsaw Man, must have forgotten to include that Himeno is a gamer, which is okay, because Leowig's got that covered. What, you didn't know that she speedruns Minecraft? Looking at the more serious drawings, there are a few things that capture the darker side of her being, and I'm personally glad that someone out there is drawing one of the more easily overlooked characters in the series with such vigor. It's a nice combination of cool, horny, and comedy. Okay, so that's Himeno. Who else are people obsessed with? Well, that would of course be Kobeni. Canonically, Kobeni is a sweaty, terrified devil hunter with a knife who is often the victim of terrible events. That's it. That's her whole deal, and the degenerates sunk their claws into her. Goth girls have their appeal, and several artists have drawn her as such. It's good stuff, and the fans even assigned her with the sloppy toppy devil. How generous. As to whether that's canon, the jury's still out on that one. As one of the more clearly distressed and unhappy characters, people have gone out of their way to draw her enjoying a date, getting proposed to, and getting married. All this wholesome energy, though, is absolutely not in story, but we'll let it slide. Of course, the other side of this coin are artists that have furthered her torture in silly scenarios. Probably my favorite Kobeni artist has got to be Gurumo. Their art is extremely stylized, but the scenarios that they draw Kobeni in has to be the most unique. Here's Kobeni, dressed as a Teletubby, naturally with a gun. Here's Kobeni, traversing through the back rooms. And here's Kobeni, posed like Stanzik, ominously pondering well-drawn detail for no reason. These level of meme postings are beyond my IQ, but I do enjoy it, and so do thousands of people. Considering how Kobeni seems to be the punching bag of the series, this seems only par for the course. So, that's a long way of saying people obsess with super specific characters, but what about the series as a whole? Lo and behold, it's not all memey and unhinged, because there's a really cool artist named Cozy Cottage. A neat trivia thing about the author of Chainsaw Man is that he's a massive movie buff, so much so that he's integrated film watching in some way in the majority of his works. The anime's OP contains movie references out the wazoo. Cozy Cottage pays homage to the author's love for movies in their own unique way. In their drawings, the world of Chainsaw Man is itself a filmed movie, and Denji, Power, Aki, and the rest of the cast are just actors. What they draw is this really cool behind-the-scenes depictions that real-life actors would actually do. Here's a drawing of an actor putting on the little dots on their face so that they can CGI different effects in post. Here's another drawing where the characters are on a green screen with ropes so that the actors can do the stunts that they do in the anime. And it keeps going too. The putting on of makeup, the stunt doubles, the hangouts after work. There's a love for the process of putting together a good movie, and the energy of it is all captured in these drawings. Alright, the last person I want to talk about is probably my favorite Chainsaw Man fan artist of all time, and that's not an exaggeration. But before that, to get a feel for this guy's character and why I like him so much, here's a few things that happened with him. He did a Walter White strip game on Twitter, which got an extremely high rate of engagement. And yes, they got Walt to completely undress. He made a short Takanashi Kiara and Colonel Sanders Dojin. It's very well drawn, by the way. On his 19th birthday, he got himself banned on Twitch after streaming a live reading of the infamous Metamorphosis Henty Dojin.
What am I doing? I posted this on my Facebook, bro.
This clip.
You have no bitches, Jutsu.
What the hell? Perhaps questionable at best and crazy at worst, the combination of talent and insanity is an incredible thing to witness, and I am here for it. So, I introduce you to Twitter artist Cyanide. Looking at their drawings, immediately the most noticeable thing about Cyanide's art style is that it's an extremely close replication of Fujimoto's works. To show what I mean, here's a few side-by-sides. Fujimoto-san's sketchy kind of feel, the tamer look to the eyes, and the low-key hairstyles, all of it is extremely accurate to the real thing. When Cyanide explicitly draws characters from Chainsaw Man, to me, it's practically indiscernible from the genuine article, and I haven't seen anyone do it like him. This talent, however, is only half the equation. The other half is insanity, which is discernible and is in almost everything they draw. Likely out of personal amusement, Cyanide has an obsession with drawing pop culture icons with anime girls and VTubers. There's no clear reason for it, but why not? Additionally, sprinkled throughout are drawings that have anime references on top of movie references, on top of video game references, on top of internet references. The layers of irony and meme posting in the majority of these drawings is honestly dizzying, and I can only imagine what this chaos must look like to an outsider. To add fuel to this dumpster fire, Cyanide is actually a pretty damn consistent artist, posting a new drawing almost every day, which is both admirable and terrifying that he's just got all of this swirling in his head. Changing gears, believe it or not, meme content isn't all they draw though. They also seem to paint more serious, whimsical pieces that don't have an ounce of irony in them. Mostly. These works more strongly deviate away from Fujimoto-san's style, although you can still see some of it in there. It's a little sad, but I noticed that these works don't get nearly as much engagement as the meme posts. I'm totally looking too into it, but I can't help but wonder what other more serious ideas Cyanide's got in his head that he either hasn't tried or hasn't bothered posting because people now know him as the memer Chainsaw Man guy. For example, one of his posts with a really low amount of engagement is a collab he did with a V-singer where he drew the main art for the song cover. It's a really good song cover, by the way, and it's not even his first project that he's been commissioned to work on. Here's a few more non-memey stuff that he's worked on. It's really detailed, and there's not even a hint of irony to be seen anywhere. I think, as an artist, it must really suck to be known as the guy that does this or that shtick, but hopefully Cyanide views this as merely a bouncing pad to fulfill his full potential, because it's so clear that he has so much talent behind him. I mean, wait until he starts coloring things in. To wrap things up, regardless of the reception of their memey or more serious works, Cyanide has shown that he's an incredibly competent artist with one hell of a work ethic. Considering how young they are, this is just the beginning of their journey, and I can't wait to see their artistic growth. Anyways, that's all I've got. Go read or watch Chainsaw Man, and follow all these lovely people. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.